Hey, what's up, people? Back at you again this morning with another Moralities Moment. This is my next vid in my video series entitled Great Vision. This morning's note is entitled Our Vision is Independence. The note says this morning, our vision is independence. Educational practices technically educate and train our youth through science, engineering, technology, and culture for independence and societal renaissance. Ending dependency and relationships with enemies that foster starvation, homelessness, defenselessness, poor quality of life, living without water and sanitation systems, lacking health care and schools, lacking electricity and basic necessities of life. This should be our vision. This is pretty much a continuation to the last vid I did on yesterday, which was entitled Our Vision, or Your Vision Should Be Collective and Cooperative. Um, you know, again, speaking to my people in general, our vision should be to become independent. It's proven that for the most part in our communities, our educational systems are terrible. In certain instances, like here in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, we have an issue with unsanitary water conditions, in communities, our communities throughout America. We have homelessness, starvation, lack of decent health care. Yeah, we have Obamacare, but I still feel that even though it's maybe a good system, I still think people shouldn't be forced to have health care if they can afford it. They say that you should be able to afford it through the new system, but still, a lot of people still can't afford health care. Yeah, you might have subsidies or whatever to help you get it, but still, it's poor health care and, lacking electricity and basic necessities of life. As a whole, we need to become independent. Stop running to the abuser for answers to our abuse. That's just like being in a physically abusive relationship. The person that's being abused, how are they going to go to the person that's doing the abusing and expect for answers to the problem? Chances are you're going to keep getting beat up. So as a people in general, again, we need to come together collectively and cooperatively and come up with solutions where we can start doing for self. One would be is to go and start doing business with ourselves. Set up think tank sessions where we can come together and figure out how we can start, meeting the needs in our own communities. It's a shame where we have nowadays you buying soul food from a Chinese person, getting your hair and nails done and Chinese places, and just think, they come to our community, see a need, and they supply that need, and then we support their systems, and then they take our money back to where they live, and we see the deplorable conditions we have in our own communities because of lack of tax base, business taxes or whatnot. So again, our vision should be independence. We should come together as a community and start doing for ourselves. Let's get back to the basics, like it was in times past, the Black Wall Street, where they had everything that they needed to support themselves, schools, entertainment, doctors' offices, lending institutions, insurance institutions, whatever they needed, transit situations, systems. They provided those things for themselves, and it was a thriving society until the powers to be got angry or jealous, and they wanted to do away with it. But again, I think with our intellect nowadays, we could do it. But again, we're gonna have to be able to come together and work together and not worry about who is doing what. It's a shame. I often use this analogy. black people can't come together and using a pencil because one person gonna say you using the eraser too much, and when I need the eraser I can't use it. It's a shame that we can't even come together collectively, cooperatively, thinking on the same page for independence from a system that fosters all of the things that have been mentioned in my note this morning. So again, let's get together, people, and let our vision be that of one of independence as a whole, as one on one accord, on the same page. So remember, again, your vision is your destiny, and your destiny should be for the uplifting of those in whom you come in contact with. That being said, hope you enjoyed this morning's morality moment. Peace, and I'm out.